I have already shared the case of Yogesh Batra, and that video received almost 600,000 views on my channel, where he revealed his murderer in his mom's dream. Today's case is quite similar, where a son named Sani keeps visiting his mom in her dreams and reveals the identity of his killer. However, this case has a twist. What really happened to Sani, and who is behind everything that he was telling his mother in her dreams? In 2023, something happened in Jyoti's life that she never imagined. 2 months ago, her young son, Sani, tragically fell from the roof and died. That day, there was a celebration at her house. Everyone was laughing, eating, and dancing, not knowing that this joyful day would soon turn into a nightmare for Jyoti. Her son, while playing, fell from the roof. Jyoti rushed him to the hospital, where doctors quickly admitted him. As they were treating him, her son kept repeating one word: Mom. Each time he said it, Jyoti's heart broke a little more. Despite her desperate attempts to help him, Jyoti couldn't save her son. The next day, her world shattered as Sani passed away. Jyoti's grief was unbearable, and the pain of losing her son seemed like something she could never recover from. After her son's death, strange things began happening to Jyoti. Things she couldn't explain to anyone. Her husband, Dhyan Singh, worked as a constable in the police department of Madhya Pradesh. His job often required him to be posted far from home, about 200 to 300 kilometers away, so he wasn't always around to support Jyoti. As time passed, Jyoti began to struggle mentally. She started having strange dreams where her son, Sani, would appear. In these dreams, he would tell her what happened the day of his death and ask her to find and expose his killer. But Jyoti was confused. She had always believed her son's death was just an accident, the result of falling from the roof. Who could she blame? At first, Jyoti kept these dreams to herself, unsure who would believe her. As the days went by, the dreams kept coming, one after the other. She began to wonder, who would believe such a story? Her husband, Dhyan Singh, worked as a constable. His heart was never fully in his job. Seeing Jyoti's condition, he decided to take leave and stay with her. One night, while they were lying in bed, Jyoti suddenly screamed out in the middle of the night. Dhyan Singh quickly asked, "What happened?" With fear in her eyes, Jyoti replied, "I saw Sani in my dream." Dhyan Singh thought that Jyoti was in shock because of what had happened. After all, a mother loves her child more than anything in this world. Dhyan Singh believed that in a few days, everything would get better. But when the same thing happened night after night, he began to think that there might be more to it than just dreams. He suspected that something like black magic could be at work, trying to harm their family. Worried, Dhyan Singh took Jyoti to different places in search of answers. They visited a temple, a mosque, a church, hoping that someone could help remove the dark forces that seemed to be tormenting Jyoti and causing these disturbing dreams. When none of this brought any relief, Jyoti was left with no choice but to visit a doctor. The doctor gave her some medicine, hoping it would ease her mind. But after taking the medicine, Jyoti still didn't feel any better. Dhyan Singh could see that nothing had changed. One day, in frustration, Dhyan Singh asked her, "What exactly is Sani saying in your dreams?" Jyoti replied, "Sani keeps telling me that I must find his killer." Dhyan Singh was puzzled. But Sani died in an accident after falling from the roof. So, who could be his killer? Do you know anything about this person? Could someone have hurt him? Did anyone in this village have a reason to harm him? Or could anyone in our family have done something to him? Since I've been away for work, you must know more than I do." Jyoti replied softly, "No, I don't know anything." But despite her words, the image of Sani's ghost kept appearing in her dreams, haunting her night after night. It wouldn't stop. It returned again and again, leaving her troubled and restless. One day, Jyoti suddenly called Dhyan Singh to her side. She looked serious and said, "I need to tell you something, but you can't tell anyone else." This is about our child's spirit." Dhyan Singh, sensing her distress, nodded and assured her, "Okay, I won't tell anyone. Whatever it is, you can tell me." Then, with great hesitation, Jyoti spoke, her voice trembling. "My child, your child, Sani. He wasn't killed by anyone else. It was his own mother, his birth mother, who killed him. I killed him." Dhyan Singh froze, shocked beyond belief. He felt a wave of disbelief wash over him, but he didn't react with anger. Instead, he took a deep breath and asked her calmly, "What happened? Why did you do this?" Jyoti's eyes welled up as she started to speak again, her voice barely a whisper. "There was a function at home. I was very upset. Everything felt too much, and I needed to get away from it all. I went to the roof. I stood near the balcony trying to clear my mind, but I didn't realize that Sani had come up behind me. He was asking for things, demanding things from me, and I couldn't take it anymore. I was so frustrated. In that moment of anger, I pushed him. I didn't mean to hurt him, but he lost his balance and his legs slipped. He fell from the second-floor roof. But I didn't mean for that to happen. I never meant to kill him." Tears filled her eyes as she finished, and Dhyan Singh stood still, struggling to process what he had just heard. Dhyan Singh listened carefully to Jyoti's words, but something didn't feel right. He could tell that she wasn't telling him everything. There was something she was keeping hidden. He stayed calm, but his mind raced as he thought about what she might be hiding. He knew there was more to the story, and he was determined to find out. Realizing that he couldn't let this go, Dhyan Singh decided to take action. He knew he had to go to the police. The truth about his son's death couldn't be kept a secret, no matter who was responsible, even if it was Jyoti herself. If he let it stay buried, the guilt would haunt him, and he feared that Sani's restless spirit would start appearing in his dreams. Dhyan Singh knew that he wouldn't be able to live with that guilt, so he made up his mind to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. Dhyan Singh kept talking to Jyoti as if everything was normal, trying to stay close to her and keep their family together. Slowly, he started sharing some of his thoughts with her while keeping his suspicions hidden. He kept his calm, acting as if nothing was wrong, but inside, he was troubled. As time passed, Dhyan Singh decided to push a little further. He gently asked Jyoti to repeat the details of that tragic day on the terrace. But the more she spoke, the more Dhyan Singh felt something wasn't right. Her story kept changing. One minute she said one thing, and the next, she said something different. This only made Dhyan Singh more certain that she was hiding the truth. He couldn't just ignore it anymore, so he secretly started recording her conversations. First, he captured an audio and then a video. With all the evidence in hand, Dhyan Singh went straight to the nearby police station. At first, the police didn't believe him, but once he showed them the recordings and mentioned that he was a police constable himself, they understood the gravity of the situation. With no time to waste, the police arrested Jyoti, and she was taken into custody. Strange things began happening to Jyoti again, even after she had confessed to Dhyan Singh. At first, when she admitted the truth, her condition seemed to get a little better. But once she was locked in the jail, everything took a turn for the worse. Her health began to decline, and the same nightmares started haunting her again. In these dreams, her son would appear, asking her, "Mom, why won't you tell the truth? Why can't you share the real story with the world? My soul will never find peace until you speak the truth." Jyoti would scream in her sleep, waking up terrified. Her cries disturbed the other prisoners and even the police officers. As the days passed, Jyoti began to realize that if she didn't confess everything, her son's spirit would continue to torment her forever. Unable to bear it any longer, she called for the officer on duty and said she was ready to tell the full truth about what happened to her son. In a sudden burst of emotion, Jyoti broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. She began to speak without hesitation, revealing everything as if the words were spilling out of her like a parrot repeating a lesson. As she told the story, Every police officer in the room was left in shock. They could hardly believe what they were hearing, a mother capable of such a terrible thing. If you've watched this far, please give a like to this video and leave a heart in the comments. It really helps the video reach a bigger audience. Thank you. In 2017, Dhyan Singh, a constable in the police force from Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh, married Jyoti Rathore in a grand wedding. As a police officer, Dhyan Singh was often posted far from home, usually 200 to 300 kilometers away. This left his wife, Jyoti, feeling lonely and isolated. One day, Jyoti confided in Dhyan Singh, saying, "I don't like being alone at home. Can you do something so I can stay busy?" Dhyan Singh thought carefully and came up with a solution. He decided to open a small shop that sold plastic toys and other plastic products. Since their house had a ground floor, he thought it would be perfect for the shop. This way, Jyoti would have something to keep her mind busy, and the extra income would be helpful. Dhyan Singh put in a small investment to start the shop, and it began to do well right from the start. During this time, Jyoti became pregnant, and when their son, Sani, was born, their family life seemed to be going smoothly. Dhyan Singh would occasionally take time off from work to spend time with his growing family. However, as the years went on, things began to change, and by the end of 2021, their lives took a different turn. Towards the end of 2021, when their son Sani was still quite young, a man named Uday arrived in the village where Jyoti lived. He had recently married into a family there and had come to visit his in-laws. For some reason, he needed to buy some children's toys, so he went to Jyoti's shop. It was in this shop that Uday and Jyoti first met, and their interaction wasn't just casual. What began as a simple conversation soon turned into something much more, a secret affair that started in late 2021 and continued quietly through 2022 and into 2023. Meanwhile, the shop was doing well, and Dhyan Singh, looking ahead, decided to expand the business. He thought about his future and knew that when he retired, extra income would be necessary. So, he made a plan to get his posting closer to home so he could spend more time with his family. He worked hard to move his posting, and with that, he decided to expand the shop. He even organized a grand celebration for the shop. The neighbors, relatives, and everyone gathered to enjoy the event, and it seemed like everything was going well on the outside. During the event, Uday, the man with whom Jyoti had been secretly involved, was also present. At this point, no one knew about the affair. While everyone was busy enjoying the function, Jyoti suddenly had an impulsive thought. She quietly signaled to Uday, and he followed her. As the crowd remained distracted, Jyoti sneaked away and made her way to the roof. However, her young son Sani noticed that his mother was going to the roof. It's common for little ones to follow their mothers, and Sani, curious, decided to follow her quietly. When he reached the roof, he didn't see anyone at first, but then he noticed a small attic room. As he looked inside, he was shocked to find his mother and Uday in a bad situation. You know what I mean by a bad situation here. Terrified, Sani quickly turned to leave, but before he could, Jyoti caught hold of him. She realized the danger of what her son had just seen and feared that if he told his father, it would destroy everything and ruin her family. Uday was equally scared. Jyoti, overwhelmed with panic, thought that if she kept quiet, no one would find out. She felt there was no other way out. In her desperate moment, she grabbed little Sani and, with trembling hands, threw him from the roof. She thought he would only get hurt a little, be scared, and everything would go back to normal. She believed he wouldn't tell anyone about what he had seen. Meanwhile, Uday quickly left the scene and went downstairs. He knew that if the villagers learned about this, it would destroy everything, but he kept silent, never speaking a word of what had happened. The event was still going on when, suddenly, there was a loud crash. Everyone rushed outside in shock and horror, finding Sani lying on the ground. In a panic, they rushed him to the hospital, hoping he would be all right. Sadly, the battle was too much, and he passed away. The house, once filled with joy, now echoed with sorrow, and nothing seemed the same anymore. After that, Sani started appearing in Jyoti's dreams every day. In each dream, he seemed to know that his mother was the one who caused his death. But Jyoti couldn't bring herself to tell her husband the truth. She couldn't admit that her affair had been seen by their child, and in her panic, she had thrown him off the roof. Despite all her attempts to hide it, Jyoti never told her husband what really happened. She confessed to other wrongs, but kept the affair a secret. This incident shocked Madhya Pradesh and the whole country in 2023. Even the darkest secrets can't escape the light, and the truth always finds a way to haunt those who try to hide it. So, this was today's case. Both Jyoti and her lover are now behind bars, and they will face the justice they deserve. But you don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. Share your thoughts on this case, and if you have any case suggestions, feel free to share them with me. Thank you.